Hello there, and welcome to the No Script Show. This is the second in our series where we randomly choose a business and redesign their website. We're doing this over 2 videos, and the end result is a template we're going to share on GitHub. This time it's greenskitchen.uk, which was the first to appear in Google's local business map for bistros in Palmer's Green, which was an area of London that is David's official, in air quotes, home. It's fair to say that the website owners, vendors, designers, builders, whatever, don't know anything about this. So we're just doing it because David fancied doing it. So, hello, David. How are you?
I'm very well.
Nice.
Shall we start with take a look at the site that we picked? I'm
Yeah.
not really.
So you did a quick Google search
Mhm.
for bistros in London. Let's quickly put that one up, actually, just to start with. And here's what we got. And you can see that Green's Kitchen, there it is, right about there.
Yeah,
On my search, it came up second, but nevertheless, it was a high ranking site. And this is what you got to. And I'm presuming when you got to it, you made some decisions fairly quickly about the fact that it would suit this show. So,
yeah,
do you want to tell us what it is that you've been doing, what the checks are that you've been hanging out, that you've been carrying out?
yeah. We'll follow the same format we did last time, where we looked basically at what we do if the client contacted us, and then we imagined their aims, and then
Yeah.
we looked at kind of the audience user journey. So we'll try and cover all those things, and then
Okay.
talk about branding. But
Right.
just Um, the checks bit. So the first thing that I did on this, really, when I looked at it, was to see that it's a one-page site, with the exception that there are cookies and a privacy page. Um, so it's just a one-pager,
Okay.
and it's new. Actually, it's new to this domain anyway. In 2022, so there's no history to look at. But it was a. I mean, I inspected it. We don't need to do that, I don't think. But it's a WordPress site made with the Genesis theme, for those people who are aware of that stuff. WP Bakery is the page builder. It's got the smart slider plugin, which is quite a heavy plugin. But as you notice, it's on the top there. It's got the little dots for slider, but there is
Hmm.
no sliding going on.
Oh, yeah.
uh,
So the slider is loading, but for no purpose in this case. Okay.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is also that it's when you look at the source code, you see that there's also gravity forms. So I think straight away I got the idea that this was a templated site because there was an awful lot of code. In fact, 23 JavaScript files were being outputted where very few of them were needed. So that the slider, there's no contact form, they're all being outputted. So I could see it was a sort of template.
Okay.
Um, so we'll look to there. There is a branding agency that it looks they're fairly new as well, by the looks of it. That's 2020, and they do, I think, print and marketing chiefly. So I imagine they did the rather nice new branding. I think they've got. It used to be. I know this area, and honestly, I couldn't remember Green's Kitchen, but when I saw it and some old um, pictures of it, I realized that it's been a cafe that's been there forever, and they've obviously rebranded themselves as a bit of a foodie place for brunches
Okay.
and a special occasion. So yeah, so I think their rebranding is quite nice. The logo on there is quite nice.
So this is a recent-ish update to their website. And just to get an idea, this is a bricks and mortar place. You stroll along what we call a high street in the UK. So it's like the
Mhm,
main thoroughfare for shopping. And
mm.
you sort of drop into this place to buy a coffee and maybe get a snack or something like that. But it kind of feels like maybe they've got some different aims now with this website. They want to kind of go with the gentrification, which has sort of captured most of London, I think it's fair to say. Shall I raise the Google Doc at this point? Shall I put that on the
Yeah.
screen so that you can see some of the bits and pieces that we've done, or rather that you've done? So, oh, crikey, that's a lot going on. Right. So, firstly, David's just explained this bit. So, we're imagining that clients contacted us, and there's the research that David did, which he's just gone through. And then we're going to move to here, which is the client aims. And so you're making some assumptions here, are you, about what this business is trying to do and how they're trying to gather new, more reliable revenue? And you've drawn some conclusions from that. Do you want to go through these?
Yeah, so I think if they did come saying not knowing their reasons why they wanted a new site, I would look at it and say, yes, we can improve the usability, SEO, and accessibility on that site pretty easy, I think. So there would be a job to do. My guess would be, with the rebranding from an old regular cafe that everybody in the area would know about because it's on the high street, I think they've gone to, my guess would be that they want to highlight things that are mentioned in their text, but it's kind of buried because it's really difficult to read their text, because the titles don't really match what's said. And buried away is a lot of things like they do the group and corporate meetings, which is big business in London. We're always looking for places where small groups can have meetings and have lunch and everything. When I worked there, that was a big market to get. So I'm imagining they're going for that, but it's buried in their text in a one-liner, which you'd easily miss. That they've got a dynamic menu that's changing. They make the use of the seasonal stuff out there. I think
So you mean dynamic in the real sense of the word? That is to say, it's changing, not that it's like a wow menu, which is sometimes how dynamic's used. But you mean they update it regularly, right?
Well, they say, and again, it's a bit buried away in their text, which is not easy to read. That's the fact that their menu is unique to the day. So there's, they obviously go with the season. I think what they're trying to say in their text there, but it's, as I say, it's not really made a point of, is the fact that they are foodies. They do say this, and that they love their food, and they'll make seasonal changes. They'll make the place an exciting place to go and get something different on their menu. So that's not made very clear and could be better. And I think, there's lots of room for things that they could do. So we can imagine that they also want to promote non-busy time. So they could put special code to do that. 10% off or something is common where I am now in Goa in India for the food places.
Okay.
When they want to boost up, say a Tuesday morning is pretty slow, they can have specials on that. They've got no email on their site or contact form.
Yep.
And I think
even though they've got the gravity form code buried in there somewhere. Okay.
Yeah,
content form, right.
I know.
Okay.
And also the staff who reviewers seem to like from their Google reviews, and of which they allude to as the friendly sort of people, are not really shown in any way. So, and I just think, honestly, I think they could do so much more with this, because my guess would be that they want to reach people who will do brunch and lunch, who have a bit of spare time. And in that area in North London, being just off the North Cirque, this main road there, they can get to. Most people from North London in some of these wealthier areas can go there. And I bet they wouldn't know about it. I wouldn't have known about this place, and I would have needed this for my old manager meetings that we used to have. So yes, so I think there's a good job there, and that would be my guess for the aims.
Can I just try and summarize that? So basically, it sounds like, so we've got this bricks and mortar store where they've been there for ages and ages, but they've just on this rebrand, they've kind of ripped out the interior and made the interior look nicer and more modern. But maybe as a part of that, they've got somebody to do the website. But it sounds like, from what you're saying, they're alluding to things on the website, but not really making the most of it. Like, for example, they do group bookings, which might be a real money spinner, but it's literally dropped into one line, and we can find that in a minute. But, corporate group bookings, that kind of things, they don't promote enough. They don't necessarily mention that the menu is changing. Again, it's alluded to, but it's not really beefed up enough. They don't run promotions, and you think that might be a good thing based upon, the way that things are done where you are. And maybe not showing their credentials as, air quotes, foodies, the idea that you're really into your food and you obsess about it and all that kind of stuff. And so they're not showing imagery of people cooking and kitchens and people happily eating things, that kind of thing. And then emailing, contact forms, all of that is missing. They're not showing the friendly, welcoming staff. And there's money on the table now. This part of London has become sort of gentrified. And so why wouldn't you show all of these things? Have I got that about right? So if you could boil it down, you basically say money left on the table, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And my family's been in that business because they had a cafe in Palmer's Green, and it's a big commuter belt, and people quite happily spend anything. And they also, in there, which you kind of have to piece two bits of information together, you kind of realize it's a place where you could go and order a cake for your child's birthday if you've forgotten about it. Or you could order, you could, when you're coming off the train, if you knew about them, you could order food, which is what one of my relatives used to do as part of her cafe. She used to provide some people who wanted curries that she could do. She could provide these meals. So I think there's a whole load of food stuff that they obviously is their main
Okay.
passion now,
Okay.
which they're missing. They're not making these. The services are there, but no one knows. And even if you read their webpage, there, you really have to, read through stuff which is not easy to
Yeah.
read.
Should we spend a couple of minutes because the next piece here is really promoting us to get onto the website and have a little bit of a poke around. Should we do that? Should we
Mm,
just spend a
mm.
few minutes looking around? So, you've obviously got more intuitions than I have. So, David's job today is going to be shouting, "Nathan, up a bit, down a bit, left a bit, right a bit, no, the other left," that kind of thing. So, do you want to just give us your intuitions? This is what we're looking at the moment. We've got what I think is quite a nice logo, quite like the color palette and what have you. But what was coming into your mind when you dropped into this?
Well, firstly, I mean that's a very blurred picture. It's not the right size for the area. So, and it's got no people in it, so you can't tell what the interior is or the exterior of this place because it's a nice outside sitting area which isn't shown at all, which is perfect for a lot of people on a sunny summer's day. But I want to see what's going on the high street. But anyway,
Yep.
but the welcome to Green's kitchen. No one needs to welcome any longer, do they? Which you can't. You
Yeah.
can barely read anyway
Yep.
because of the. And then this is one of their logos, Coffee and Friends, the perfect blend. And you keep seeing this is why it sounds a bit AI generated their text. Because if you go to the next line on there, let's have a look. So who we are. I can't actually read this because it's too small on the screen I've got, but maybe you can, Nathan. Just give us
I
a
can read it. Yeah, so it is fairly small, but here we are. Who we are. Just curiously, if I was to go to a restaurant or a cafe website, the who we are is of such secondary importance to me, to be
uh,
honest.
yeah.
The what we do and what our food and drink looks like would be the first thing that I'd be interested in. Anyway, we'll come to that. So, who we are, based in North London, Greedon's Kitchen offers the perfect blend of casual dining in a relaxed atmosphere. Do you want to parse that sentence?
Yeah, exactly.
Blending one thing, okay?
But yes.
Um, at, yeah, at Greens, we would consider ourselves foodies, as in we love to eat, and we are passionate about sharing this with you. Our menu is freshly prepared daily, whether you're popping in for a quick bite over our freshly brewed coffee or joining us for lunch. It would be a pleasure to welcome you. Do you want me to carry on, or is that enough?
No, no, and I
Yeah.
just think a lot of it's like that. It's sort of, and then again on the second paragraph, you get the same perfect blend again as they. It's it doesn't get to the main points that they've got here. There was, you've almost lost the fact that they've got a freshly prepared menu daily.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, it's
and
buried. It's buried on line 4. Our
yeah,
and Yep, and that's
and
kind of
there's
important.
yeah,
But also,
oh,
I would say, who's going to read this? Who is actually going to come to this website interested in this information? Isn't it's more about what, just show me what you got, show me
yeah.
what the food is that I can buy and how I can buy it and what the place looks like that I'm going to sit in to eat it and so on. So, okay, so there's our intuitions. That we're a bit mean there, weren't we? I didn't mean to sound quite so.
No, it does sound like word, but you're right. I think you just want the facts of what they do, and it screams out for bullet points on the
Yeah.
top that just says this is what we do. And
Okay.
and again, it's an empty space. That's another blurred picture. I think it's
It is
been
a blurred
scratched.
picture, and also that is the most peculiar sort of 45-degree rotation. Like, what's the point of the I don't know. I don't Okay, it's interesting, but I don't wanna think that I'm gonna have to if I get a coffee, I have to hold my cup at 45 degrees to stop it spilling on me. Anyway, okay, and now we're on to this image.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of an image,
Yes.
and I don't know. It's not doing it for me anyway.
Yeah, because we don't know what it is.
No, and it's taking up the full viewport, like the full viewport from top to bottom as we scroll through. All right, let's keep going. What our customers say is the next section. Am I all right doing it like this, just going
Yeah,
from
yeah,
top to bottom
sure.
quickly? And one thing I noticed here, it's nice to have testimonials. What both David and I missed is that actually there's more than one testimonial, but they don't. There's no indication that you can scroll. There's no arrows. There's no dots to sort of show that, but you can actually
Yeah.
move them around to find other bits and pieces. But anyway, testimonials, whether they're good or bad, I don't know. Do you have anything on that before I scroll
No,
on?
no,
No.
that's fine. They
This
just
is
need it.
kind of where I want to get to. Not quite here. Actually, the menu is where I want to get to, but I want the menu to be married to this, like actually seeing what you do. So for me, this belongs right near the top or something equivalent to this, maybe not
And
quite as much.
also, just stop you there because that's what I've just seen there. Our homemade cakes and bakes here, tasty. So,
Uh,
so you'd miss that because it's not made out as a point. So
Homemade, you mean? Just the fact that they
yeah,
do their own food. Yeah, 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 yeah. Big point. Yeah.
yeah,
And it looks great, doesn't it? Most of it looks well, all of it actually looks pretty delicious.
yeah,
So
yeah,
loads of images, lots more images, fabulous food. Look at that. What a variety. See, I'm
yeah,
salivating now. Quite happy to go and there's that same image again. Okay, so now we get to it. Now we learn it's homemade.
yeah.
Um, which I kind of feel should have been further up. Anything you want to add, or shall I keep scrolling?
No, just keep scrolling. I
Keep
think
scrolling. Something new.
this is where I think they really left it down now because it's you. If you read that, I don't know. So
Okay, so it
that's
says something
much.
new. We know what our customers like and how their tastes are changing. It won't be long before we know what your order is before you've even told us. So they've got two befores in the same sentence, which is kind of a bit jarring. Sometimes you've got to shake things up and you'll be tempted to try something new with our daily specials. The offering will always change based on what's seasonal and fresh, bringing you the best ingredients we can get for a limited time. That's the bit, right? Isn't it? Is like we got the
That's it.
dynamic menu.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And the rest is to me is a bit creepy. You know.
Oh, it's interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
it's a bit
yeah,
too
it's a
long.
bit like we know what
Yeah,
you
we know
want.
what you want before you come in. Yeah, that's right. Sit down. You're having ham and eggs.
I
Yeah,
I know what they're trying to say by that.
yeah.
They're trying to
We
say
get to
which is
know you. We're friendly, right? You'll
exactly.
you'll come back. We'll be like best buddies. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And then we're on to what I imagine is a menu, but it's kind of somewhat frustratingly hidden behind this accordion. I'm guessing there's an accordion. Yeah, there it is,
yeah,
which actually
yeah.
reveals what I think is a really nicely laid out menu.
I agree. Yeah,
That's like really clear.
yeah,
HTML, no PDFs in sight. Brilliant. So that then is the breakfast and brunch menu. And then we got lunch, same feel and flavor, looks nice. And then drinks and what have you.
yeah.
Okay. So I think they've done a good job on that. But personally, I'm not sure it should be hidden behind an accordion. Um,
And for me, the problem is that I want the pictures to go. I don't want a gallery with all lots and lots of stuff in there. I want the pictures to go with the food that
Okay,
I
so
might
what
order.
we're seeing here, all of these
Yeah,
images kind of belong in here, or at least somewhere adjacent to this. Okay.
I feel they
Uh,
should be organized. Yeah.
yeah. And then we got a picture saying that they're open with some
Uh,
text. We're here to cater for you, whether it's
and
hosting a
this
lot. Ooh, whether it's hosting a large group. So this feels like where you'd make money hosting big
exactly.
groups and
And
corporate events.
deliveries for corporate media. And I think,
Yeah.
and you could just completely miss it because it's got no title and you're just going to look to the image. So I think they really hide away the key points of where they could make money because it's buried in this kind of
Yeah, and if you were
weird stuff.
Googling, I don't know, corporate catering in Palmer's Green,
Mm,
you're literally in the last piece of text.
mm.
It's not going to come on Google, is it? It's right at the bottom. So,
And
okay.
they must be losing people by not having anything other than a telephone number. I mean, if you are corporate and you do this, you often want to send an email just saying, "Can you host us for blah blah
Yeah,
blah?"
the
Or have any.
telephone's right down there, isn't it? That's the
Yeah, but
only
no
place.
email.
No email. They've got an address. So you're going to post things to them. Um, And yeah, okay. Okay, so we sounded a bit disparaging there. And of course,
Yeah,
that's
we
not
did.
the point.
No.
We realize that these things are done with the best intentions, but David's got some different opinions. Should we go back to our Google Doc? Is it
Yeah,
time for that? Okay,
I think
right.
so. We'll just quickly run through the. So yeah,
Okay.
we sound like really bad people now, don't we?
We do,
Um,
but maybe we are. So do you what shall I just read through this? Your intuition here was the copy reads like AI. First line, Green's Kitchen offers the perfect blend of casual dining in a relaxed
yeah,
environment.
yeah, we covered
We've
that.
done this.
Yeah,
Titles don't match. It's everything that we just said and more. Right. Then we're
yeah.
on to this audience and user journey. Tell us what you thought of here.
No, well, it was just taking all of that and just putting that into a different form. I think they can do more for the SEO. They can mention more of the London areas throughout their text in some different pages. They can get off the one pager. They might bring in some people from Winchmore Hill who are a bit wealthier from that area than they are in Palmer's Green, who will drop down, I'm sure, because it's only 5 minutes from there to go for brunch there. So I think they should do that sort of stuff and try and, like I say, pick up those people who have plenty of time and disposable income to sit around in the day and eat nice food.
Hmm.
So special events, pull out the fact that there's takeaways there for, as I think there's a good audience for that sort of tired commuter. They've got the money. They commute into London from Palmer's Green all of the time, and they live in, the houses in Palmer's Green are all 500,000 plus anyway. So, they're not.
There's a few
Yeah, the
pounds
people who live there.
dangling
Yeah,
around in
yeah,
pockets,
exactly. So they just
hoping
need to
to find
know,
a home. Yeah,
and they
yeah.
want convenience in that, as I know, because relatives in the trade can easily sell that to that kind of audience.
So
So I
this is
think,
the sort of takeaway bit. You might phone your order through and collect it as you walk past on your way home, kind of thing,
yeah, if
something like
you've
that.
not had a
Yeah,
chance to cook for the
yeah,
family or something,
yep,
and you come from the office, you just say, "Oh, they do a nice blah blah."
yep,
Um,
yep.
so branding. If we went not down to that, well, I think it's just there. It was there in the logo. That's really well done. I wonder if the same company did that. And I just think, just build off this, the gold and the angles, and make
I
it
love
menu
it.
like. Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying to you before we hit record, there is something about this combination of that really dark background and that sort of golden. I mean, the fact that it sort of fades, it's got that fade from top to bottom. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like jewelers, like jewelry stores and things. I don't know why, but it kind of reeks of I don't know, like Coots Bank or something like that as well. It's got that real classic look to it. The
Yeah.
font helps as well. It just sort of gives it that age, and I don't know, you're not messing about. It's not sort of jokiness, is it? It's nice. So anyway, sorry, you like the logo, but
Yeah, I like the logo because it built on what they had before, which was just, it looks like they've changed the font slightly, but it's
mhm.
still keeping what they've already had in the past. But now it's sort of, it's just got a little bit more classy. So yeah, that was it. Nothing really. They were just my notes, just saying we should play on that, which I have done because we'll move on
Okay.
to this in a minute. And
Yeah, and we'll show you the designs that David's mocked up in Figma because that's where we're going with this, by the way. We should have said that at the beginning. And should we move on to number 4, structure navigation?
yeah, yeah. So I would lose. We didn't cover that, but it's a one pager, so everything's linking to different ID sections in there, and it's got, if you go to mobile, it's got one of those hamburger
Should we have
menus,
a
which is,
quick look at that? Because I've got some
yeah,
mobile. I've got some. I've got
it's
a
it's
Chrome
in the
extension. Here we
template,
go.
yeah.
Let's have a look.
So,
There we go.
and it's a bit
That's
awkward, isn't it? Because if you just go to the first one, then you have to scroll back up to get to the
oh
menu to
yeah.
open
So
it
if you
again.
go home, that gets rid of it. So home is basically back to the top. But then if you go to who we are, oddly, you haven't scrolled enough to invoke the menu, which comes back. So if you go to who we are, you can't go. You have to go back to get the menu back. I see. But if you go further down, like gallery, the menu's already there. So there's a few weird bits going on, isn't there?
I mean, it's easy to do this sort of kind of stuff with just CSS now, but I think a lot
Mm.
of these where they make you click are pointless when you can just drop the menu for mobile down below. There's only what, 4 items, so you can just have that drop below the logo for mobiles, and people can just hit where they need to go. But anyway, so that was
Oh
that.
gosh, if you open up the accordion, did you see
Yes.
that?
No, I missed
Let me
it.
just
What happened?
refresh that. Oh, I'll just scroll down. If you open up the accordion, yeah, that time it worked, but the first time it bumped me right back to near the top. Yeah, it's working
Right.
now. That's
Okay.
pretty
That
nice.
that might
Okay,
just be.
back to the Google Doc.
Yeah. So yeah. So my thinking was, well, we pretty much said what it is. I think they need an about page to show that they are foodies. They need to show some of their staff, even if it's just a picture of somebody, the hands of somebody making
Yeah.
something.
Yep.
Even if it's
Yep.
not people, just a
Yep.
sense that there are real people, and they need to probably say
Yeah,
what
this
they are.
foodie philosophy bit, show that you're into it, show that you got your hands dirty with it if you like. Yeah, got it.
Well, every place I've been, I'm in Goa here, but we've got some really upmarket places that we go to. And every time you go and you see a menu in these places, they give you some chef's philosophy about what it is they believe in. So
Hmm.
they do an international blend with Goan dishes here. why they do that. It's about their travel. So they've got story, and I'm sure they've got story, and it probably should be on the about page and show their
Okay.
staff. Um, I think they need a contact page, because I think they need to not only have another way than telephone to contact them
Yeah.
with emails,
Yeah.
but probably need a form for some people. And I think they might want to be able to tell people about other things like parking that there is in there, because we know it's on the high street. First thing I want to know is, where can I park nearest to
Okay,
that?
so you're driving up there in a car and you want to know if you can put your car somewhere. Okay, but also,
Yeah,
yeah, if you're going to be into like the corporate booking thing, you want to have some information about how that works, don't you? And some way of contacting and all of that kind of stuff. Okay,
yeah.
so a
You might.
contact page with some kind of form on it. All right, and then other
Uh,
pages.
Yeah, and I think there should be a page for the menus so you can organize the images that they have. They've got beautiful images of their food that looks
Yeah.
really appetizing, but it's not
Yep.
connected up with their items on the menu. So I think they should just go to, particularly if you're going to have them quick loading on a HTML site, you can just do that. I think that would be the thing to do.
Okay.
And I just think if they wanted to promote to other areas, then they should do some articles on their site anyway, like a bit of a, not necessarily a blog, but just something that might mention recipes or something, and just as a way of being able to introduce in some way in the text other parts of London as well, so you can
Yeah.
kind of try and reach people. As I say, there's an absence of areas connected to their food on their site, so they might be able to do a little bit with SEO. I know it's a struggle when it comes to food because they're all dominated by those places that pull together. You go to these places now, don't you, to look for where you can get the food you want. So they're
Yeah.
dominant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same as with hotels, you can't rank very easily because there's bookings.com and all those types of people. So
Yeah, honestly, the competition's so fierce now. All these different apps that you can get on your phone, trying to stand out and sell your own food to your own local clientele must be harder than ever. So getting ahead of
uh,
that is a good idea, and that kind of leads to this bit, doesn't it? A recipe page or something like that, where you're really showing off what you can do in the area where you live.
yeah, I think they should talk about personal events and stuff like that, so they can
Hmm.
mention that they live there, and when you can talk in a real person and get sort of keywords in that won't end up in those kind of food apps that dominate the front page. So you might be able to find some people by doing some recipes and talking about local stuff and inspiration. And the same as a way about talking about commuting in London and takeaways. You could do an article about that, where you
Yeah.
also mention the fact that you provide that service, if that's what they
Okay.
do, or special events and cakes and stuff like that.
All right.
Just
So
mention, yeah,
all of this is in the back of your mind then when
yeah, I think so.
doing
If I
your
was talking to a client, yeah, I would say
yeah.
you could do this, maybe.
Do you want to go
Uh,
quickly to the section 5, or should we look at your Figma first and then come back to this?
yeah, I think. Do we need to go to it? So this is just laying out before we actually. Yeah, no, let's go to Figma because I think you've.
Okay. So David had all of so David did all of this. He obviously put this document together. He's imagined that the client has come and they've got all of these needs. So looked at the website, dissected it, thought about what can be done better, what the audience might be, what the branding might be, what the structure might be, and then jumped into Figma.
Yeah,
And there is so over here we have the original for context. And we'll zoom in a moment. And then you've got various layouts, dark, two dark ones, and a mobile dark, and then you've got a light one. Where do you want me to head first? Do you want me to go to these notes, or should we just zoom straight in on your dark main desktop
yeah.
one version?
Let's zoom in on that one. I mean, as again, it's not perfect. It's not aligned properly. There's all sorts of stuff. You're Nathan. You can always pick up on anything that's
I can
wrongly
see
aligned.
the alignment straight away. I'm going to ignore it. I won't say a word.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to let you talk, and then I'll give you. I love it, by the way. But I think it's a significant improvement. But so, what have you done? Should we just start right at the top? What's going on here?
All right. So just for the context, I don't think like in the first site we did, with context are so important to be immediate, but just a simple way of putting a bar up there for desktop only, I think. I'll assume that people will scroll to the footer on a mobile because they just go like this, don't they,
Yep.
with their mobiles. So it won't be so important. So that will disappear, but just a quick email stuff, opening times on there.
Nice.
The main thing was really just to get in the fact, and I can't read the text now on this because it's too small for me to read.
I
But
can. So yeah. So basically, what we had at on the actual website that's live at the moment is a strapline which didn't really work. This UVP, and you've changed that. Coffee and food lovers is what's standing out for me, and that's clearly what their business is. And then you've broken it down with some bullet points. So it says our coffee shop is in the heart of Palmer's Green. So you're making that point. And within easy reach for most of North London. It's suitable for those who want friendly, relaxed space for a coffee or smoothie. Many like to visit us for our dining experience, and then some bullet points. Menu freshly prepared daily, ching. Inside and outside seating. Don't think that got mentioned at all, not in any
no,
image or in
you
any
can't see it.
text. So,
No.
okay. Catering for group and special events, bang on, and takeaway service. So you've hit all of the things which I want to know and which are going to make them money, all in this little top bit here. And you've got some interesting imagery going on the side. What's the idea here? This is the sort of small gallery. What's happening?
Yeah, I've always got. I stole it from something that I liked, and I thought there would be something where I want this on the BBC iPlayer service. If you go in to log in, and actually, if you scroll
Ah,
across here, they
yeah,
have this thing forced totally to the right. So it's quite nice the fact that it's not kind of contained; it's right off to the right side, and they change it out. So the top one was what it was when I looked at it. I thought I like that, and then this is what it is today. Below this, it's now a different bunch of stuff. So I thought it might be quite nice because they need to sort of show people, they need to show the inside and outside, they need to show some food, but they could alter this if it's seasonal. Let's say they've got a special on, they could even put a little block in there. So you could just swap out that image, I think, like the BBC do. So that was the
right.
thinking there. And just to make it a little bit different, the fact that it's
Yeah,
hard
because you would
right.
want a different, even if you just did that on a sort of seasonal basis. You're like winter
Mm.
things that everybody wants might appear and the summer things that everybody wants and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a neat idea. Can I also just draw attention to the fact we never mentioned it? You've got the menu really prominent in the the menu is really prominent in the
The
wait for it
menu.
menu. But that's the point, right? That's the bit that I want. I want to see that bottom, and so we sort of bypassed that. But I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, actually, there's a but. I haven't thought something out properly actually with this. I've put that as the kind of call out, and that will drop down to the menu section on this page. But I've just realised I've created a different page for menus. So what will it do in that case on the
Yeah,
other
so
page?
okay, there's some thought for that. I mean, it could go to the menu page, but you've illustrated that there's a menu here. I see. So I've just scrolled down. Is that all right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You've obviously stolen. You've taken as an inspiration the logo, haven't you? Here, where you've got the
yeah, exactly.
sort
Just
of the
carry
little,
this on.
yeah, carry that on, and you're showing lunches, specials, drinks, smoothies, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
Anything to add there?
No, nothing. Except you click to individual pages, which we'll come to in a minute.
Okay,
Um, and then
and
there's
then
just a special section where they could either highlight their groups and events as a call out there. They could put on their special offers, or they could even do a special dish of the day type thing, or the change of menu or something. Just a
right.
space there to call out those things. That was all.
Yeah, this is really going to help your sort of repeat business, isn't it? Not only are you sort of qualifying that you're a foodie and you do a dynamic menu and it's changing all the time, but you know that we've got a website, and so we're going to make you feel special because you've bothered to go to the website, and you're going to get 10% off. So these special offers feel like a real good way to bring people back, if not
Yeah.
necessarily, first time visitors or what have you.
I mean, Google
Uh,
gives you this information. I don't know where they get it from, where they say busy times. Have you noticed they have a little
Yeah, I
graph
I don't know
thing?
how they know that either. It's probably Android phones reporting back or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, 2 key bits for their business to sort of grow, and then the reviews you've put into a sort of a little box all by itself,
Yeah.
so that's a little bit different.
Well, my thinking is because I'm already thinking about how you might code this. Is I'm thinking rather than have something with JavaScript that you could do the same thing where it will be scrollable, but it will be using uh, just natural scroller, and you just have
Yep.
scroll snap now, which you've
Okay.
got in CSS, which you can force it to slide into
Okay.
place. So I think that's what I'll do with that. But
Okay.
also, what I would do, which they don't do, I would link it to their genuinely good Google reviews that they've
Google
got.
local business listings.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the individual ones, so you can link it, so you've got the proof there. I would put a little area section. I don't know what their names there, just to try and put in all the local areas. Southgate, Finchley, Wood Green.
A bit of
Uh,
SEO, geolocation
yeah, just to
information.
make sure that
And
it's not
not
on.
near Scarborough. What? Didn't notice that. That's where I live, which is nowhere near this. Yeah, I won't be going to Greens to have my meals because I don't live anywhere near it. But I'm tempted now with this lovely new menu. Okay, so that is the footer, and then
Yeah,
you
so
made a menu. Sorry, am I rushing ahead?
no, that's fine. We need to pick it up a bit, don't we? Because people will be
Okay.
getting bored of us, I
So
think.
this, I'm guessing, then what we're seeing here is what if you click on this menu button, you'll end up somewhere like this, right? This is the menu.
Well, no, I was actually
No?
thinking of scrolling down to the place on the homepage where you do it. This is where I haven't
Okay.
thought this through, Nathan.
Okay.
As I say, this
Yeah.
is rushed up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
okay. It's okay.
it might have to change that. That might have to change because we can. It's not a content management system, so I might change that button depending on what page you're on. So on the homepage,
Yeah.
it'll take you down to the links, those 3 boxes, and that'll
Oh,
take you
which
to
will
one
then
of.
lead you to here, right? Okay.
Yeah, and then it wouldn't make much sense, the menu here, because where does that
No.
gonna go? Yeah,
No.
it could go back to the homepage if that were ID'd, but that would be a bit silly, I guess. Um,
The menu, I think we both thought, despite the fact it was in an accordion, I think we both thought the menu was pretty good, and it
mm,
feels like you've just leaned in on what they were doing
yeah,
already.
just I've literally copied and pasted it,
Yeah,
so
okay. Okay, yeah. So there's not a lot to say there. We thought they did a good job with the menu. And it's like I said, not a PDF. It's searchable by Google. They will know what you're serving up. But this is
yeah,
interesting. You've got this sort of. So you mentioned that you wanted to put the images with the menu items, but I noticed
mm,
that you haven't sort of dropped them in, I don't know, to
mm,
the right or to the left inside here because they'd be very small. So
mm,
what have you got here? You've gone for some sort of sliding
yeah.
scrolling effect?
So this is just borrowing the same thing that I would do with the reviews. It's just something we can talk about next time when it comes to code. So I'm stealing again from Andy Bell and Hayden Pickering what they call the reel on every layout, which is basically just using scrolling. You set it up, and you set it up also so you'll notice the last image on there is cut off, so you know that there's something to scroll to.
Got it. Right,
So,
right, right.
so
Yeah.
so there's a scroll bar, and we could just put the text in there against it. So if we do it in the order of the menu, if you're like you, as we were discussing this earlier, and me, I want to read it quickly, but I also then want to see what I'm going to get there. So that should probably do the job, I think, in a
Yeah,
very easy way.
I think if you were to put the little items in here, it would be too small. You'd basically be looking at something literally the size of your thumbnail on a
Mm.
phone, and you wouldn't get any intuition as to what it actually looked like. So having it there seems like a nice way of doing it. And what you would there be a sort of click event there where it would go into some sort of pop-up, or are you just gonna show it like that, 3 or 4 side by
I
side?
think just like that.
Yeah, I
There may
think
be
so.
less on there. I think it's
Yeah.
just to get an idea. So,
Yep.
I mean, it's also for easy coding. If you have to align all these images in with your
Yeah.
text, this is
Yeah, good
pretty
point.
easy to
Yeah,
do.
okay, yeah, saves you a bit of time too. And then something on events and takeaways, just there. There'll be a thing.
I think there should
Um,
be something. Yeah,
there
I
should be
don't know what.
something. Okay.
And then,
And then very quick, because like you said, we are sort of running out of time for this particular episode. There's a view of how it might look on a mobile. Obviously, just
yeah,
a few of the bits and pieces.
bullet
So
points
full
might.
width logo, little bit of a menu underneath, but there's not much in the menu anyway, so that would work. And then
Yeah,
into the text with a nice bit of padding. I'm not going to mention the bullet points, David. I'm not saying those.
yeah, things have
Yeah.
fallen off. Yeah, things are not allowed. I mean,
Yeah.
what I was thinking with that big sort of BBC image thing off to the right on the desktop on the here, then I think we need to use the picture tag to serve up a different image for mobile. So it'll be just a
Got
smaller
it.
gallery. So you can still get the same information, but it'll be adjusted
So
to those
more
screens.
masonry, less. Well, this it's just sort of almost looks a bit random, doesn't it, by design? Sort of
Yeah. Well,
thrown randomly together, which is really nice. And here, more of a grid feel to it,
yeah.
so
But I mean,
consuming the space. Yeah, yeah.
I just dumped anything. I'll have to do a better job. I think when
No,
we
it's
come
okay.
back to do our next one, I will remove their actual images and use ones that I've taken from the net and make a pretend one that's mirroring them. So
Okay.
so I don't have to make two versions like I did before.
Yeah, got it.
So it'll look different, but yeah, that's why I haven't bothered too much with the selection of the pictures. They're just to represent what we're going to try and do with this design. And
Okay.
then yeah, as you've got it half there. It's easy with this because it's plain colors just to do a light version.
Yeah,
So
you've literally swapped the text colors for the background colors, and the background's all gone. Well, it looks white. I don't know if it is perfectly white, but it certainly
no,
looks
it's
it.
just off white. It's always off
Just
white
off.
with
Okay.
me.
But you can see it's basically exactly the same, but everything's swapped around. Actually, if you kept that gold, yeah, gold is
I've
this.
darkened the gold up because I think there'll be an accessibility issue. It'll be too
Yeah.
light against the
Okay.
very slightly off white. And that is one of the issues that I didn't mention. Actually, it's so difficult for me because I'm one of those many people who can't read black on white or
Oh,
white on
right.
black.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's why there's always an off-white background for me, and always a darker than black, lighter than black text.
Okay.
Always. Mm.
But basically, you haven't done too much in the way of
No, it's
changing.
just the same. Just
That
swap around the
background color
colors.
there has changed, but broadly speaking, it's the same. So there's your Figma. I don't know if that's going to be available in the show notes or anything, but maybe it will.
Mm.
Maybe it won't. If
Well,
it is,
because
you
I'm
can
not.
go and look at it.
Yeah, I probably overwrite them because we're on the free. I don't know if you get to keep them for all time.
Ah,
Should
okay.
we should know this. So, but
Well, it
yeah,
doesn't matter. Well, anyway, you've seen it on the video, so that's what David did. And then just quickly before we finish off, any need to go here? Probably not. I don't know. Any need? No.
no,
Okay.
I think we've covered where we're going with this. So
Okay.
yeah,
In which case, I will bring us
hey,
back to this screen so that we can say our farewells. Now, I've no intuition as to how long it's going to take David to capture all of that in actual code, but David's job now is to put everything else on hold. Any client work or what have you must be stopped so that he can quickly work on the new Greens website and make them incredibly successful. Have you got any intuitions? You got any idea of how long you're going to take about that?
no, it won't matter because I think we'll put the two videos out together. So when
Ah,
I've done
perfect.
that and we do our next video,
No.
we'll bunch them together. So
So he literally did it straight away. Anybody that watching this,
yes,
he did it almost immediately. It was a
5 minutes.
miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle. So that's it. There's our episode, and check the next one out for what happens and the code that was created and how it was all put together. But I think, David, we've captured it. Does that sound right?
It's a wrap, not a
It's
foodie wrap.
a wrap, as you say. In which case, we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, David. What a whirlwind that was. I really appreciate it. Take it easy. See you
Yeah,
soon.
thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Bye.